Hello again, everyone. Welcome back. Well, today I'm beginning my series on the Southern Draw cigars. These have been around a while, actually, at one of my local shops, and I decided I would give them a try. Now, today I'm going to concentrate on the Kudzu. Boy, that is a true Southern item. If you're in parts of the country that don't know what kudzu it is, a very invasive, large growing vine that grows, I've heard, up to a foot a day, and you cannot get rid of it. It's all over the South and the right of ways and what have you. It was originally brought over as an erosion control item or product from Japan, and it just takes over everything. So this kudzu is a cigar, and it is a Toro 6x52. Interesting thing about this is look at the foot. It is closed. That is one funky looking little foot there. Now, this cigar uses an Ecuadorian Habano Oscuro wrapper and Nicaraguan binder and filler. One thing that got me extremely interested in these cigars is when I heard or learned that they were made in the AJ Fernandez factory. Now, I don't know if AJ's people make them or if, they have a subset of people that making it with some of AJ's tobacco or all of AJ. I don't know that. But you got to believe they're using AJ's tobacco and his workers. It's a very medium brown with some reddish hints to it, don't you think? Now, this comes in 3 basic sizes and 4 line extension sizes. They're listed on the blog, so check it out there. Now, this is the inaugural cigar from Southern Draw, and they designed their cigars to pair with certain beers or liquors or whatever. Folks, I've mentioned many times before, I am not the authority on what goes well with a cigar as far as alcohol, because I don't know. So I'll leave it up to them. You can get all that information directly from the blog. How about this? One thing I do know this much about, now maybe less, is cigars. So why don't we get right to this one? The new to me, Southern Draw Kudzu Toro. Now, I had one of these earlier this week. I bought 2, one to try first and one to review. And I'm anxious to see what difference it's going to make, if any, that I'm doing it in my controlled environment. And reviews are done in a controlled environment usually. It's with a clean palate, nothing else on your mind, basically. So anyway, here we go. Okay, that's a pretty good draw, but it's hard to say because you've got that closed foot. So we'll have to just, it draws, Southern Draw, but I don't know how well. So I'm going to say that's pretty good. Let's get right to it. How about it? The first flavors I'm getting is sort of a citrusy type flavor, but is also combining with an apple, a distinct apple, caramel, brown sugar, coffee base, black pepper at about 7. I'm getting hints that we may be getting into some chocolate notes, but it's so faint. But I was waiting for it to develop. It's probably going to come. If it's going to happen, it's going to come. So at this point, go with what I said before. That's your initial flavors. I don't know about you, but I'm anxious to see what happens. Well, I'm about 2 inches in, right at the lower band, and the flavors are sort of bouncing around a little bit. They the original flavors were quite sweet. Sweetness is really going down, and it's like the entrance of like a leather type flavor and an earthy coffee. Now, leather and earthy coffee really make a dirty flavor, and it takes away from the sweetness of what originally was a citrus and apple sort of a combination in brown sugar with caramel. I would say all those flavors are still there of the sweeter variety, but where they were in domination of the coffee at the beginning, now they're like this. They're overwhelmed by that leathery, earthy coffee. Wouldn't say it's a bad flavor, but it's quite a change. Almost one extreme to the other. The cigar is medium bodied. The finish is rather short. By that I mean it doesn't last long, thus the name short. There's not much there. A leathery cream, but in minute amount. Not really any lingering black pepper to speak of. Some maybe, but not much. But all in all, it's not a bad start or first at a 2 inch point. I will say this: my scoring for this point versus what it would be at the very first of the light up, which nobody does that, is a difference because it tasted one way at the beginning, now another. At the 2 inch or 1/3 point, I'm going to go with an 87. It was much better than that during the first half inch, but hopefully that doesn't mean it's going downhill all the way through. So we're going to see. I have to remove this band, this lower Kudzu band. But it's not a bad start or a bad cigar. It's just I'm quite taken back by how big of a change it made from the light up to the first third. Well, here we are at the 2/3 point. How about that? The positives. The burn is even. The burn time is pretty good. We're already at an hour and still got a little over 2 inches remaining. The negatives. The sweetness has decreased even more. The leathery, earthy coffee is dominant. The pepper's still good. The sweet flavors are probably 2/3 to 3/4 of what they were at the 1/3 point, and they were already decreased at that point from the beginning. My fear has been realized. It is going downhill. The finish is definitely a leathery flavor. I won't even say a leathery cream anymore. The lingering black pepper is up, however. Another positive that I didn't mention initially. The 2/3 score is 85. I am hoping in the final third we're going to rebound and do something impressive, but I don't know. Uh, let's see. Well, we are down to the end, so let's wrap it up. It continued on the same trajectory. Here at the end, there were some nutmeg notes thrown in there, but the sweetness kept decreasing. It's almost undistinguishable what sweet characteristics it has. I know because I reviewed it, but it has very little of what I previously described as the sweet flavors. Leathery, earthy coffee was continuing to be dominant. The pepper went up on the finish. The pepper remained very good throughout the cigar, but the finish it really went up on. Still pretty much a leathery finish. Think back to when I described the initial flavors. At that point, had I given it a score, it was 89. It went down steadily from that point. In this final third, I'm rating it an 83. If you take the basic average of the third scores, you have an 85. But I'm being a little more critical because of how the cigar acted and went as it went along. I'm giving the final score 84. I am a little disappointed. I thought more of the cigar, hoped more for it than that. Um, and even in this controlled environment, that's not much different. As a matter of fact, it's not as good as it was as at my initial thoughts when I had the cigar this week, just around. But that is my final score, 84. The cigar starts out really nice and it just loses ground. It goes downhill. I don't know why, but it does with me. So there are two other Southern Draw cigars that I'll be reviewing in the coming weeks. So maybe they'll do better. We'll see. But for now, that's it for this one. The Southern Draw Kudzu Toro 84.